What's up, cuz? I'm your boy, Jason Palmer. I am the host of this show, and this week I have a guest co-host in with me. He also happens to be my cousin, Lance Irvin. There he is.
What's up, cuz? How are you, sir? I
doing,
can't complain. Doing great. How are you?
Hey, wait a minute, man. What kind of background is that you got, man? You done got fancy on me. You ain't had none of this in dress rehearsals and none of this stuff. Where you get that from, man?
Hey, my wife took care of me. Now my lighting is messing up a little bit. No, but I knew you was going to come strong. You always try to come strong with all your trophies and all that. But that's all right, though. I got something for you next time. Don't worry about it.
No, I'm feeling it, though. I'm liking it, man. All you got to do is, like, put some spray paint on it. I think you put, like, a strikeout box on there like we used to play back in the day, man.
I wasn't trying to upstage you, but since you're trying to show off, I'm coming strong next week. If it is the next week, but don't worry about it. I'm coming strong. I'm coming because you know the one thing the Irvins have, we have trophies.
We got trophies.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna bring those rings out.
Oh, you bringing rings out?
Oh, I'm bringing out all 6 rings.
Well, you gotta hope you come back, man. You just a guest, man. You a guest, man. You. I don't know, man. This is my show. You a guest. So I want to make that clear right now. You the guest on this show. This is my show, cuz.
But don't forget who's oldest. I'm the oldest.
Hey, man.
I'm the oldest.
That just means you're gonna be using the cane quicker, brother.
I'm still in shape. I just ran 35 100-yard sprints. If you don't believe me, call up Kendall Gill. He'll tell you.
For real?
I'm in the 60-40 club.
I did 30. I did 30 sit-ups. Does that count?
30 chicken wings. That counts.
Hey, man. Hey, what can I tell you? Well, anyway, we got a great show for you for our first show lined up. We're going to have Joseph Phillips of the Chicago Crusader. He's going to be coming on first. He's going to give us a rundown, a breakdown of the news that's going on all across sports today. A lot of big breaking news stories and some stuff that he's also doing the Chicago Crusader. And while I'm on that, the Chicago Crusader, they are our partners in this endeavor. Mrs. Dorothy Lavelle, the publisher, we are partners with them. They are sharing our content. We are using some of their content to make for a great show. This is Black media working together at its finest. So support the Chicago Crusader. And you can start right now because we have a poll question. Lance, we got a poll question. Did you know that?
No, I didn't because you didn't tell me. But what's the poll question?
I didn't tell you the poll question.
You trying to upstage me again. But
oh,
go ahead.
My God. Well, you know.
Go ahead.
All right. So we have a poll question for this week. Our poll question is, which sport are you looking forward to returning the most? Is it baseball? Is it hockey? Is it football? Is it basketball? Which one are you looking forward to the most? We're looking for your votes. Log on to www.chicagocrusader.com. It's down a little bit. Once you get to the homepage and scroll down a little bit, you'll see our poll. We're going to have a weekly poll question. It's going to be sports related. Maybe. Sometimes we're going to have some just social justice questions or some life questions. But mostly they'll be sports questions. But this week, the first question, I know we're all fiending for these sports to get back. I want to know which one are you looking forward to coming back first and look forward to the most. Lance, how about you answer the poll question? What are you looking forward to coming to?
The obvious. Basketball. You know, basketball has been gone for a long time, and the season was interrupted right when stuff was starting to get good. It was only a couple of more weeks left. But, you know, I want to see, can LeBron do it? I want to see, is Giannis, can he step his game up? You know, I want to see, can James Harden finally get over the hump? So I'm looking forward to basketball. But my second sport, baseball. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. You know, I'm not going to hate on the Cubs. I'm not going to hate on the Cubs. But I'm not going to hate on the Cubs, but I want to see what my young Sox can do. I want to see what the young Sox is going to do. I want to see if your guy is as good as you say he is. Tim Anderson.
Yeah,
Mr. Anderson.
Tim is the guy, man, and he's a guy I'm working to try to get on this show. Tim is a really good guy. He and his wife, Bria, are really good people, and their 2 kids. I've got a chance to meet both of them when I was in Kansas City, actually. I got to meet them, and just a really good family, really good ball player. I love that guy. You know, some people are already chiming in. Bernard has already chimed in, say he's looking forward to basketball. I know a lot of people are looking forward to it, and there's a great argument for that because basketball is going to come back. They're going to finish off the regular season, then they're going to jump into the playoffs. So for me, you know, I'm not so much looking forward to football because I just don't think it's going to happen with COVID. I just think it's just not going to happen. So ain't no sense of looking forward to that. Baseball is definitely my favorite sport. But I'm kind of a weird dude, man. And
you gonna say hockey. I know what you gonna say. You gonna say hockey,
man. I'm gonna say hockey. And you know why I'm gonna say hockey? Because the Blackhawks are actually in the playoffs. And I have no idea why or how they made the playoffs, because when the season ended, they were like not going to make the playoffs. We all knew that, but COVID hit, so now we're in the playoffs. So go COVID, go Blackhawks.
You know what, Jay? But you always been a huge Blackhawks fan.
I have.
Can you tell me why? Why did you gravitate towards the Blackhawks?
And I am a product of that 1980 USA Olympic team that beat the Russians and then went on to the gold medal, which is something about that. When I was a kid, I used to love watching the Olympics, whether it was the winter ones or the summer ones. And it was just something about that team. When I was 10 years old, I got caught up in all the hype and everything that was going on. And I was like, go USA. And, I had an uncle, my Uncle Chuck, he took me to a hockey game when I was young, and a lot of people don't understand, especially people from our community. Hockey, you got to go to the game, man. Once you go to the game, you are like all in. It is going, the people are going crazy. It's a different type of environment. The white people are buying you beer. It's just a different type of environment, man. I've been in a basketball game, sat next to brothers I know, and they wouldn't give me a beer. So, just for that alone and just the environment, I'm looking forward to hockey in the playoffs and everything that's going to be coming up. But we want to hear from you guys. What is your vote? Remember, go to ChicagoCrusader.com. We are doing this endeavor with them, and we thank Dorothy Lavelle for sharing her content with us and her years of experience and getting our show off to a good start here. But definitely go there and check out that poll. But, cuz there's been a lot of news kind of going on today. And before we bring Joseph on in a couple of minutes, just you and I. So I think for us, the biggest story of the day was the NFL franchise in Washington deciding to finally, for the love of God, get rid of their racist nickname, which I refuse to say. But they have gotten rid of the team's nickname. They're going to come up with a new one. What are your thoughts on the NFL Washington team and their forced decision today?
You know what? I think it was long overdue that they changed the name. And it's tough. But I think all the minds, they all did what's right. Excuse me. I think they did what was right. And I thought the name needed to be changed. But I tell you what, Jay, one of the things that I was looking at was like the Patriot League. They canceled their fall sports.
Yeah.
Hampton canceled their fall season. So now I'm trying to see how will the dominoes fall with the Big Ten. They canceled. So those are the things that's been interesting to me that happened today.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I mean, we're going to start seeing more of this from these college conferences. As you said, Hampton University announced they are canceling all of their fall sports. That announcement came across about probably 3:30, 4 o'clock this afternoon. So, a lot of these colleges and these conferences are going to have to make decisions on what they're going to do with the fall sports. And I feel so sorry for a lot of these student athletes and the coaches and just everyone involved with this, because, you're going back to school. You want to go see your football team. That really brings in a lot of fans. It brings in a lot of revenue for universities. And, of course, the fan base is pretty rabid in a lot of these games and, not having these sports. But I think you have to do what is in the best interests of these young people and the public in general. So, I know these are tough decisions is being made and there's a lot of economic pressure on these universities, but I absolutely think, they made the right decision. And the truth of the matter is, it really started a couple of weeks ago with Morehouse College down in Atlanta and HBC and a lot of the smaller D2 and D3 conferences who just like, we can't do it. But, now we heard the Big Ten announced they're only going to do conference games if they can even do those.
Conference only. They doing, I think it was last time I heard it was 10 conference games. So that's going to be tough, especially for the schools and like the other conferences. Like I know the MAC basically had like 10 games with the Big Ten. And that's revenue that those schools was counting on that could drive their sports programs. So it's all tough. Like you said, the Washington Redskins, it was tough, but at least they did the right thing and changed the names. Not trying to get you off subject.
No, you didn't. And for me, it wasn't tough for me. For me, it was long overdue, just like taking down that dumb Confederate flag was long overdue. It's a shame that a man had to die. You know, it's a shame that a man had to die for some states to realize the Confederate flag flying probably isn't a good thing. It's a shame that a man had to die for statues that have been honoring racist slave owners had to come down. It's a shame that a man had to die, you know, for all these social changes that are long overdue to start taking place. But they are starting to take place. And, you know, I'll just give everyone here just a quick rundown. This show basically started as a movement of all the things that were happening in our society, from COVID and then the murder of George Floyd in Minnesota. And I really took it upon myself to say, you know what, it's my time to get out here and really start being a leader and start putting my own show together and doing that. And so that's what I've done. And that's how I put it together. And, you know, I think you're the perfect guest for What's Up, Cuz, for my first show, and looking forward to many future shows coming up. But, you know, it's just really cool. Really, really cool. So we have joining us here to talk about more of the stuff that's going on and stuff that he's been working on as well. Joseph Phillips, who is a reporter for the Chicago Crusader Newspaper. That's our partner newspaper in this project. And Joseph, there you are. I see you. It looks like you're wearing the same outfit you were wearing earlier, though, dog.
Yes,
What's up with that, man? Man, I ain't special, man. You ain't changed to a new outfit. What's up, dog?
Man, the missus, man, she taking good care of me right now, man. So
Joseph, I like your outfit. Your outfit's smooth, Jay. You see what I got on today? Your outfit's smooth, Joe.
I'm sorry, brother. I'm just trying to represent, man. You know, I'm out here having a ball in the house.
Okay, all right. Hey, man, we all are, man. And since your wife did it, man, I'm gonna let you slide on that. Because mine is sitting like 10 feet away, so I can't say nothing, man.
Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing.
Can't say nothing. Joseph, what do you have going on coming up this week in the Chicago Crusader, which people can check you out online at www.chicagocrusader.com, or they can also subscribe to the newspaper as well. Crusader is a weekly newspaper, the oldest weekly black newspaper in Chicago, going on 80 years. You can have it sent to your house weekly. What have you got coming up this week in sports?
Okay, so this week in sports, I just recently did a piece on Anthony Davis with his name situation. Just making a social justice stance. He decided that he was going to stick to his last name, which is David, and he's going to pretty much represent that in the Thursday, July 30th game against the Los Angeles Clippers, which is pretty much the season opener, which everybody's been waiting for. I heard Lance say he can't wait, so it's something to looking forward to. And for all basketball fans, the game is definitely about to change. You're going to see more of a social responsibility for not just a few athletes, but social responsibility across the board from all athletes.
Wow. Okay. So, you know, that's been a little bit of a topic today. One of my friends that actually posted it on Facebook, because LeBron James has also said that he's going to use his last name and not any of the social justice name. Can you give me a little bit of background, Joe, on basically what that is all about with the names on the jerseys and stuff?
Okay, so here's the story, and I'm just going to share just briefly on some of the things that I wrote. Davis confirmed his decision Sunday in a conference call from Orlando, where the Western Conference leading Lakers are beginning team workouts. And here's a quote from Davis. He says, "For me, I think the name Davis is something I try to represent every time I step on the floor." And he said this to the AP, quote, "I just think my last name is something that's very important to me, and also social justice as well. But I'm just holding my family name and representing the name on the back to go through this process. And people who have been with me through my entire career to help me get to this point, while still kind of bringing up things that we can do for social justice." So the subject was both Davis and his teammate LeBron James declined to choose a social justice message after they did say earlier during the George Floyd situation, they were going to possibly represent a social justice brand on their jersey. So they decided to stick with their last name. Now, LeBron James also declined to choose a social justice message to replace his name on the back of their jerseys in start of the NBA season on Thursday, July 30th against the Los Angeles Clippers.
Hey, Joseph, has any other athletes that play the sport talked about putting a name on the back of their jersey? Have you heard anything about that? And also, would you put a name on the back of your jersey? It was up to you.
Well, I haven't heard any other.
Not trying to put you on the spot.
Yeah, no, this is cool. I haven't heard any other athletes say they would like to. I know some may have spoke on it off the record. Maybe there's a few out there, but when it comes to me, like I said, when it comes to the social justice aspect, like I tell, there's two different parties, okay? There are the ones who are actually out there protesting for the right reason, and then you got those that are out there with the hidden agenda. So when it comes to branding, it has to line up with my values and my beliefs. And if it doesn't do that, then I can't represent that.
Gotcha.
Definitely, because those guys, those guys have been doing a lot. They've been stepping out to the front. They've been leading the charges, and I don't have a problem with them not doing it. Because the one thing, those guys, they've been real vocal, and the one thing they've been doing, another thing they've been leading with money too. Yeah, and LeBron educates the kids too, like what he's doing in the school and stuff. So I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I don't either. But like I said, we live in at a time. And I'm not trying to compare and contrast the civil rights movement to today, because a lot of people do things for branding and marketing purposes, which sometimes I question their motives and their intentions. And I'm not taking shots at LeBron James. I'm a Michael Jordan fan, so I'm just letting you know. And I know you guys come from the family of basketball, so y'all know how Mike is very dear to our heart. But I always tell people there's different ways you can impact the community socially. And one of the ways you can do is through philanthropic effort. Now, there's two types of philanthropists, and I'm going to share this with you guys. You can laugh. All right. So there's a philanthropist that gives without those giving him the attention, okay, which those who give quietly, and then there's ones that give for attention. So sometimes you have to question those individuals who like to give for attention motives, because sometimes people do things for show. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
All right. I appreciate that. And those were the comments of Joseph Phillips. Write your letters to him.
sound like Joseph knows some stuff.
No, man. Dang, Joe, man. All right, cuz, we got you. So
I was about to take notes. What up, cuz?
Help me, cuz, please.
One more thing on that topic, Joseph. It's a little offset of that. The WNBA also, a lot of those players have been very straightforward with their social justice. And, I know they're talking about putting Black Lives Matters on all of the courts across the WNBA. That caused a comment from the soon-to-be former owner of the Atlanta Dream, who with some of her comments. Anything you know about that you can share with our viewers today?
I think most of their stuff, when it comes to the WNBA, most of it's aligned with what the NBA is doing. I think they have a unity when it comes to those issues. And far as with the stance, I think the WNBA, I think they've been attacking social justice issues even before the NBA was actually attacking these issues, and in every aspect, So now, with the George Floyd situation, pretty much being the prominent thing that everybody's talking about in the nation, I think it's a solidarity thing where everybody's coming together, and standing on one accord. All
right. What else you got working? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Len.
Okay.
No, I just think they was one of the first leagues that jumped out when Trayvon Martin had the incident with him, and I think they jumped out first when that happened.
Yes, that is true. And they wore a lot of them had I remember the Can't Breathe. You remember the Can't Breathe sweater?
Sure.
I think they were like the first to do that. So it's been a combination of things. And even when it comes to minority owners, I see a lot of African American owners, African Americans in management, which probably, there's something that most people may not be able to experience in corporate America. So WNBA has always been progressive when it comes to, pushing the agenda of helping minorities progress through upward mobility versus creative upward mobility.
Sure. And, I can say this. When I lived in Minnesota a few years ago, I lived literally 15 minutes from when Philando Castile was murdered as well. And I know the Minnesota Lynx players took a very strong stance against that. And as a result, the Minnesota police officers who had worked Lynx games refused to work games anymore. And their attitude was fine, don't be here. So that's just kind of on that. What else you got going on, Joseph?
Well, just in addition to the Anthony Davis story, I did a piece on Yu Darvish, possibly holding out for the season. And by the way, guys, I'm a Cubs fan. I know this is a White Sox. I love you guys. At the end of the day, I do love the Cubs. So, Yu Darvish, by the way, recently just announced that he is concerned about the COVID-19 outbreak because he do have young children, and he's kind of hesitant about actually playing or showing up to practice with his fellow teammates. So he's a little hesitant about it, but hopefully he'll be ready for the start of the season.
Well, let me ask you this, Mr. Cubs fan. Is Chris Bryant ready for the season? Is Chris Bryant ready for the season? That's what I want to know. Javier Baez ready for the season. Talk to me, Cubs fan.
Okay. Well, KB has concerns too. The last time I was speaking to Sean and Maya, I told him, I said KB has concerns also because he's happily married. He has a newborn. So most of these guys, they're just starting families and they don't want a COVID-19 positive test to affect their mind psychologically on how they're going to, pretty much groom their families and raise their families long term. So I don't blame them, and they've been very vocal about it. So Chris Bryant, former MVP, former Rookie of the Year, former 2016 World Series champion, when he says something, it's going to move a lot of people. And then in addition to Yu Darvish, who just got his reputation back after the Astros cheated, and stole his plans and all that. So now he's starting to get his reputation back a little bit. So when they speak, it means something.
Right. And I know I'm sitting up here, I'm talking stuff about the Cubs while I'm wearing their colors. I don't know. I don't know how that happened. I'm gonna blame my wife on that one for not pulling me on that one. But and not just Yu Darvish, Michael Kopech has already opted out for the White Sox. I mean, we were really looking forward to this guy coming in and pitching and bringing heat. There was some reports that came out about perhaps why he was sitting out today. We do know he's had a history of some issues that he deals with. He's coming off of Tommy John surgery, but he's also battled depression. He's been quite open about it. So I'm comfortable talking about it. He's been very open about some depression issues and some things he's had going on. And people are, speculating perhaps that's what is going on. I know Don Cooper made some statements earlier today to kind of lead down that path. But I don't want to assume anything like that. What have you heard about that or any thoughts on that, Jeff?
Well, first I want to commend you guys and that potent White Sox lineup from top to bottom. I mean, you guys got batting champions in there. Y'all got 30-plus home run hitters in there. Y'all got leadoff hitters, situation hitters. It's going to be bananas. So in addition to that, with Mr. Kopech, like I said, when he first started, he was a little inconsistent. He was a little wild, on his control. And I think that with Mr. Cooper, Coach Don Cooper, he worked with him and he was actually improving. So now with the COVID-19 outbreak, especially you guys got a chance to win the World Series this year, and he could play a huge part in help making that thing come to fruition. So now is not the time to chicken out. Sometimes you got to put the fear aside and go all in. And you guys have a chance to redeem yourself from the 1994 season where the season was shortened and you didn't get the opportunity. So now here it is, pretty much almost almost 20-some years later, you got a chance to do the same thing and within a short period of time. And I think y'all are built for success. And I was praying and hoping, as I told Sean and mine, Cubs versus Sox, baby. Red line series. I love to see it.
Hey, Joseph, let me ask you. I mean, he did have the Tommy John surgery, right?
Yeah.
Do you think he's chickening out? Or do you think why? I think I'm not sure if that arm is right, and that brother has a nice fastball, which we all know. But I'm more interested in what little cousin over there said. What's up, cousin? What Jason said. I mean, I'm concerned about his mental health.
Yeah,
I think a competitor when you younger, right? tend to opt to want to play versus like the age I am now. I'm like, nah, I don't know. So I think it's probably is a little bit more than that. That's just me.
Well, guys, I can add this. You guys come from a winning family, okay? Y'all know about championships, okay? So winning cures all things, you know. So as you know, Coach, at the end of the day, you know, you make it really,
yes, it does.
You got to go to work, okay? But I don't care if you had a migraine, a headache. We saw The Last Dance. What did Michael Jordan say? You know, he told him, he said, "Look, I didn't ask you guys to do anything that I didn't do." Okay. And whoever that leaders on that squad is, they need to sit down with Michael and say, look, we understand you're going through. We're going to get you some help. We're going to get you some, you know, the counseling, but we need you. Okay.
Yeah. You know, it reminds me very much of the situation with the Bears tight end that we had. The guy who I think we just released him. He came from the Eagles. I can't remember his name.
You're talking about I'm about to say, is it Trey Burton? No, not Trey Burton.
I think Well, the tight end, you know, he had some of the things, and he ended up sitting out. Trey Burton is his name. He ended up sitting up some games because of that. He felt he needed some mental health days, and I'm a pro mental health person, and I believe if you need those mental health days, you go ahead and take them. I mean, I took one after the George Floyd thing because I was about ready to just go bananas out here. So I'm not going to hold that against anybody. But I think, you know, Chicago people are a little nervous, like you said, when people are coming back from surgery due to Derrick Rose when he chose to sit out that year. And a lot of people felt he should have just came back and played through it with that restructured knee he has. And I think that's the concern a lot of people are having as well with Kopech. Is he hesitant to come back because of the injury? And he figures, I don't want to come back in just this short season. I'd rather come back for a full season in 2021.
Well, hey, I totally agree, Jason. Totally agree. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Add on that. Being a former athlete, and you know, I had like six surgeries.
Sure did.
2 ACL surgeries and 4 scopes. And it's hard coming back from those injuries. Like the first time I hurt my right knee, I hurt it when I was a junior playing back in high school. And, you know, I was a little bit hesitant to go out there because your timing is off. And then, too, from a mental standpoint, I was like, okay, I know I'm well, but am I going to move like I'm well? Like, am I running with a limp? And then, too, like Jason said, if you come back too early, I mean, you could really ruin yourself. So with that being said, that's why I'm glad, Jay, you said what you said. That's tough. Injuries are crazy.
Yeah. Hey guys, I totally agree. And like I said, I can give an example. I know I'll never forget my high school year. I had busted my head and had a concussion on my left side. Lost a lot of blood in my head and everything. And I think it was this guy telling me that, you know, it's time to make that plan B, you know, like, you know, moving from basketball to sports writing, you know. So I was at South Shore High School during that time. And then in addition to that, a player that I think of somebody who recovered from an injury and made an impact later in the season, that was Kyle Schwarber in that 2016 World Series. Because when I'm talking about, you know, a miracle, because I thought it was over for him throughout the season, maybe Kopech can come back in that role if the Sox get into a Game 7 and they need him to close it out for the win, and that'll help build his confidence and bring him, you see what I mean, bring him that confidence, that mental health that he needs to show him that he can still play this game.
Yeah, and I know one thing, Lance, and maybe you can comment on it. A lot of athletes will say when you're coming back from an injury, it's not so much the physical part because your body is physically healed, but it's the mental block of getting past the injury and thinking, can I still do what I did before? If I can't, how do I adjust my game? Can you talk to that one leg man?
Yeah, I can talk about that one leg. No, you know, I was always concerned about pushing off on that leg because, like everybody knows, that you say, well, you're not the Irvin that could score. You could score, you could score. But I was the Irvin that played defense. So I needed to be able to push off. And I was always leery, okay, if I'm going left, can I push off on that right leg? I knew it was well, but I was like, I know I can, I think I can. I know I can, I think I can. but you only really figured it out the more times you try it. So once you get over the fact that, hey, I'm well and I'm willing to try it, then you'll be fine.
Cool. Well, Joseph, thanks a lot, cousin.
Love you guys, man. Love y'all.
Thank you, sir.
On everything. God bless y'all.
Thank you, man. Look forward to doing this again next week, man. That's Joseph Phillips from the Chicago Crusader. He's a sports editor. We're going to take a quick break, and then we come back our next segment. I know it's the one that you all been waiting for. It's the hottest debate in Chicago. Southside versus Westside. Hoops, basketball. Who's got the better ball players? What's the difference in the game? Who talks better crap? Uncle Remus or Harold's? Make up your mind. Coming up after the break. We'll be right back. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys.
What's up?
What up, cuz?
What's up, cuz? What's up? Welcome back, man.
Man, I'm so excited about our next guest. I can't wait. Woo, he used to put it on me.
He used to put it on you like that?
Oh, did he, Jay? He used to put it on me. Then he'd come over the house and eat all my mother's food up. He'd come eat breakfast food, the bacon, the eggs. Then we'd go play again, and he'd put it back on me and come back and eat lunch. I was like, come on, man.
I got a story. I got a story about him too, man. He probably don't even remember it, but it's like one of the most memorable moments of my life. So I definitely got to tell that story. But for our next segment, it is obviously something that starts fights in barbershops. Anyone who's not from Chicago may not understand this, so I'm going to set it up for you. When it comes to basketball, it's Southside or the Westside. And people in Chicago fight over this all the time. It's the never-ending argument. Which side of town got the better ball players? Is there a different style? Do the refs look out for one side over the other? You hear all sorts of stuff. And our first person coming on, he is representing the South Side. Now, this dude, all city, all state at Carver High School, went on to play basketball at UTEP, played in the NBA, was a three-time All-Star, is known for his signature move to kill a crossover. Welcome to What's Up, Cuz. Our man, Tim Hardaway. What's up, Tim?
Nothing. What's happening with y'all?
Oh, man, it's good to see you. Man, Tim got the same hairstyle that he played with.
Hey, Jay, Tim looking good, too. Like,
I know.
Tim working out twice a day. I'm watching Tim videos, Tim on the elliptical, Tim out there running.
Yeah.
Tim, you could probably still get somebody a little bit of work, can't you?
No. No. I go out there, watch guys play, shoot, show them some moves, show them what they need to work on, show them their strength, show them their weakness, and then that's it. But no, I'm not playing basketball, man. I'm not trying to get over no pick. I'm not trying to put no defense. I'm not trying to run down the court and try to trick nobody. That's over with, man. That's over.
So Tim, you're actually fortunate as well. You've passed on your legend to your son, who's also, playing in the league right now. Just how does that make you feel as a dad to now see your namesake?
Man, it's incredible. When I'm watching the game, a lot of people they think I have a mean mug or whatever, but I'm really smiling from ear to ear. I'm ecstatic, you know, about him, about how he plays, his IQ of the basketball game, his leadership out there on the floor, his competitiveness, and you know, he just goes out there and play the right way, and I just be ecstatic just by watching him play and having fun, you know, out there. What I used to do, have fun and enjoy it. That's what he's doing.
Okay. And so now, you know, there's a lot of pressure when you're a kid growing up like that and having a father like you who played in the league to try to live up to expectations. What did you tell your son when he was going through his process playing, coming up through high school and through college? What advice did you give to him as it relates to that?
Well, you know, as a father, I almost tore up my my household because I was always negative. I was saying, like, Tim, you know, you need to do this. You need to do this better. You need to do that better. Your game needs to get better in this aspect. I never was like positive with him. I wanted him to play like me. And I had to stop myself. I had to bring myself back. I had to reel myself in. I had to stop myself because he wouldn't sit down and watch basketball with me. That's how it was. And I was like, man, you know, I don't want my son not watching basketball with me. I don't want my son not enjoying not only our friendship, but our family and me being dad and us going to do, you know, father-son stuff. And, you know, that's where I was taking it to. Like he was getting distance from me, more and more distance from me. So I had to check myself and say, look, let me let him go ahead and enjoy the game. Let me go ahead and let him learn the game himself and how he's supposed to learn the game. And let him come to me and ask me questions. Let him come to me and wanting help from me. And let him come to me and so we can go out there and work on his game. And every time he went out there and played, I was like, hey, man, don't worry about it. Just learn from it. Just learn from it. But when we went out there and played basketball, he was always on my team. I always gave him the basketball, you know, last second shot or last shot for game. I said, here, man, you come off a pick. They're going to screen for you. Come off. If you got a shot, if you got the field, shoot it. If not, you know, go into your one-on-one stuff. And, you know, but I'm going to make you play the way you're supposed to play. I'm going to make you learn the way you're supposed to play. Learn when you're out there on the court with me. And that's where the tutelage that I gave him then. But, man, I almost broke my family up and I almost made him stop playing basketball until I checked myself.
Wow. Just to build on that before I ask you a question, Tim, I think you gave great advice to all parents out there listening, right? I go watch games, Tim, and I hear parents, they watching their kids. Their kids are like 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Yeah.
And they hollering, shoot the ball, take him, shoot.
Yeah.
You ain't doing boop, 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 boop.
Right.
And I'm like, he's 10. Let me ask you this. What made you at an early age when he was playing with you want to set him up to take the last shot, want to set him up to tell him to come off screens? Were you trying to teach him at that age, or what were you really trying to focus on when he was that age, when he's playing with you?
When he was playing with me, I was focusing on all aspects of the basketball game. You know, his defense, his rebounding, his bringing the ball up the court. Don't be scared. Don't be shy. Bringing it up against anybody. I had the best guys stick him and guard him. I said, don't take it easy on him. Push him, shove him, make him get better. And that's the only way he's going to learn. And but, you know, when he went out there, he was frustrated at times. And that's part of basketball. You're going to get frustrated because you have to learn. If you're not frustrated, you're not learning and you're not taking the game seriously. So he was taking that. That's when I knew that he was taking the game seriously. But he was, you know, I just groomed him and I didn't rush him. You know, a lot of kids are being rushed to playing the game or into being a better person, or better player, or that all-star player, or that all-American right now. You're not going to be an all-American right now. You got to take your time. Patience is a virtue. You know, I tell parents, I said, let it take its course. Take your time. Everybody want to come out in 1 year. it's nothing wrong with staying in school 2 years, 3 years, because that's where you get tools. That's where you get fundamentally sound. That's where you get better. That's where you get stronger. That's where you get a better IQ of the game. That's where you learn the ins and out of the game. And a lot of these guys, they take that for granted. So when they get to that next level, if they get to that next level, it could be detrimental to their talent and to them. Because if you go down to the G League and you don't have that type of game, guess what? You're going overseas. And you're going to be upset with your parents. You're going to be upset with whoever told you that, yeah, you come out. No. If you're not ready to come out, if you think you're not ready to come out, don't come out. Right. Stay in school.
Right. Once again, we're being joined by Tim Hardaway. He's our guest. He's representing the Southside. He's a alum of Carver High School, played at UTEP and in the league, and 3-time All-Star. Tim, talk about Southside basketball. You are representing the Southside. What is the difference between the styles of Southside and Westside? Which side got the better ball players? But just tell me a little bit about the Southside style that you grew up with playing.
Well, I'm gonna say this: Southside and Westside, we both got great ball players. You can't differentiate. Who's better, who's tougher. We are both tough. We both gritty. I tell you this: the Westside is more in your face defensively. They talk a lot. They talk a lot of smack. But they bring it though. They bring it. They're gonna pick you up. They're gonna test. They definitely going to test your manhood out there on the basketball court. And if you're not ready for that test, then you're not going to be focused enough to do what you need to do. You got to be mentally tough. You got to be confident in yourself, and you got to be ready to go out there and accept the challenge of what they're bringing to the game. And you got to know how they bring it into the game. A lot of people talk trash, but if you can let that trash talking come to you and take it to that next level, then they'll stop talking trash to you, or they will stop egging you on, because they know egging you on only going to hurt them, and they're not going to be able to contain you.
Tim, when I think of Westside, person who I think of right off the top of my head, current player in the league, Patrick Beverly.
Oh, no question. I'm going to tell you this. This is a true story. So I'm in working for the Heat. Patrick Beverly, he picks up LeBron full court. He throws the ball over to Dwayne. He picks up Dwayne full court. He went back and forth. They were scared to bring the ball up against him. And this was just pick up basketball. They was like, you playing too hard. See, they don't understand the level of basketball that we play and the intensity that we play in Chicago. That's how we play. It's not about, picking up full court, you playing hard, or you trying to prove something. No, that's the way we was groomed to play hard. If you're going to play this game, you're going to come out here and you're going to play hard no matter who's out there on the basketball court. I remember Allen Iverson came to IIT. They booed him off the court. They booed him off the court because he wasn't ready for that type of level of basketball that was about to happen. He stopped at halftime. He said, I can't play no more. They said, why? He said, y'all play too hard out here. I just want to come and play some basketball. This is too serious. And Rod Strickland told me, I said, man, I wanted you to come play at IIT, Rod. I wanted you, man, I wanted to give you some. He said, this is what he said. He said, Tim, I'm going to be truthful with you, man. Y'all was playing too hard. I didn't want to play hard during the summer. I just wanted to chill. I just wanted to come get a workout. So, that's where, where we come from. If you put us out on that court on them 4 lines, we're going to take it to you, no matter who you are, where we are, what time of day, what time of night. If there's nobody on the court, if we just playing 5-on-5, we playing 1-on-1, we're going to come at you, and we're going to come at you hard, and we're going to give it to you. That's the difference in Chicago basketball and basketball period across the country. We gonna give it to you, and we not scared to give it to you. But the Southside is not as rugged and it's not as tougher than them guys on the West Side. Them guys on the West Side, they grew up a little bit different. Than we grew up.
Hey Tim, let me ask you this. I remember going to gyms with you and Byron just to piggyback on some of the stuff you saying, and you dropping some nuggets. You giving us some great sound bites. You will play so hard. I remember one day you told me, "Hey man, if you ain't playing hard, me and Byron not gonna pick you, and we gonna fight you when you get home." So that's the type of intensity that I got used to. But let me ask you this: you were one of the guys. You would go anywhere to play. You go West Side, South Side, North Side. You didn't care. But let me ask you this. Was it any gym or what gym on the West Side that you stepped in when you like, oh, you was already going to bring it, but you was like, okay, I really need to really go step it up today?
They have a game in or a thing on the West Side. It's called 150. It was at Newberry when it was up on the West Side, and it was a game up to 150. So it's like, you know, you have a team over here and you have a team over here, and it's like so you could sub in.
Okay.
But the game is to 150. So a team might go on a 50-0 run. All right. But you know what? It's okay, because you're gonna go on a 50-0 run. Everybody's not gonna keep up. But I tell you, when it got to like 120, 119, 122, 120, yeah, you could tell who wanted to be in the game. You could tell who didn't want to be in the game, because the intensity amped up a lot. So when we went there, it was that's Newberry. That's where we went to. And there was another place on the South Side, Robichaud. That's where Tree used to open up. And Robichaud was the same way. It went up to 150. And we're talking about gyms that was hot. We're not talking about air conditioning. We're not talking about, hot showers. We talking about when you go in there, you're going to come out with a sweat and a great workout, because you playing against people like Ricky Green, Darren Brittman, Carl Nix. You playing against people like that, Byron Irvin, Nick Anderson. Then you go out west, you playing against Snake, Ken Norman, Paul Bean, Randy Brown.
Man, Randy pick you up whole.
Man, I mean, they pick you up full court, man. You like, this is pickup basketball. You like, you get the ball, you like, what are you doing? And you like, hey, this is basketball. Either you gonna play or you gonna go, or you gonna sit down and go home. So you have to, and that's how we taught Lance. Like, Lance, man, when you step in the gym and you put on them shoes and you step on that court to play, it's time to bust people AS. Simple as that. No mercy. Kill, and kill.
I love you, Tim.
So Tim, I remember, must have been 1990, around that time, right after my cousin Byron had gotten drafted. And I picked him up at the house. He's like, come on, little cuz, I need you to make a drive for me. We got to go make some runs. I'm like, okay, come on. So we drive him. We go to the airport. We pick up his boy, Derek Chivas. Okay. Now, my little 20-year-old butt is driving a 1989 Pontiac Sunbird. All right. And so now I've got Chivas, who's like 6'8". I got Byron, who about 6'5". Yeah. And they were like, come on, man, we got to make another run. We got to pick up somebody else. I'm like, well, the next person is 6'8". I don't know how they going to fit in my car. So we driving. We get around Ekersall. He's like, yeah, it's right over here. Let's make this left turn. We go. And we come in the house. And you open the door. And you like, hey, Ma, come here. I want you to meet these NBA players. So that was my introduction to you. And then you like, come on, y'all, let's go something to eat. So now here I am. I got Tim Hardaway, Byron Irvin, and Derek Chivas. I got about $30 million of future NBA salary in my 89 Pontiac Sunbird. And I'm driving like, oh my God, if I have an accident, we gonna be on the news. We're gonna be on the news. So that's my story. But Tim, I remember you were talking about growing up, you know, where you were and playing outside on the outside courts, and what a big difference that made from Chicago people as people who grew up in other parts. Talk a little bit about playing outside on the South Side in some of these parks out there on that concrete.
That's all we had. That's all we had. You know, we played against the best out on concrete. You know, we had pros that used to come back and play on concrete. You know, Ricky Green, he played on concrete. Jeff Wilkins, J.J. Anderson. You know, all those guys came back at the YVI. They played on concrete. You know, when they was in college, that's how we got tutored. That's how we understood where the best ball players was at. And I'm telling you this, man, I saw J.J. Anderson one day. We was at South Shore High School outside, and we was playing. And JJ didn't miss a shot. He didn't miss a shot that day. And we all knew, and he had a championship game that night at Chicago State. That's when the was at Chicago State. And we was like, damn, he is so focused right now in pickup basketball that he's ready for tonight. He didn't miss a shot for 4 games when we played outside. We played outside on concrete first at South Shore High School. And then he went to Chicago State and got MVP of the night game. All right. So that's how we used to play outside. We didn't take no mercy on whoever we played. We played at Eckersall Park. We played out there what you call that out
that's the one on 83rd Street.
83rd Street.
Cole Park. Cole Park.
You know, we played at Jeffrey Manor. I'm going to tell you this. Jeffrey Manor was the only place that they could turn on their lights at midnight. And we used to go out there at midnight. You know,
Till the park closed at 11. Y'all out there trespassing.
Dude, they turned them lights on, and we was on. Let's go. Let's hoop. You know, in the pocket. You know, where Brian Leach grew up at, and Tony McCoy and Carl Harris and all those guys, the pocket, man. Used to have some great games in the pocket. And then, you know, it was just all around the city of Chicago, man, where we just went and played. And it just, man, it was, I'm telling you this, at Corliss High School, right there by the railroad tracks, by Jay's Potato Chips.
Right there by Gately.
Yeah, right there by Gately, man. We play out there. It didn't matter where we played at. You know, wherever it was at, people just gravitated to it. And back then there was no cell phones. Everybody was like word of mouth. You know, where you going? Oh man, I heard they was hooping up there, man. How did you know that? Man, word of mouth came some type of way, and everybody's at the park. We was hooping. But that's the way that's how we hoop. It didn't matter where we was at. You laced them up. But you know, I will tell you this. We were stupid because we play on that concrete, man. We feeling it now. We are feeling it now. I'm telling you, man, you run on that concrete or you jog on that concrete, you like, oh man, I was playing on this. Yeah, man. Sometimes you had to come home and ice down, your shins slant, your knees was hurt. I mean, then you didn't want to fall on concrete. Yeah, the coaches be talking about like dive for the ball. We wasn't diving the ball. We wasn't diving the ball on concrete. So forget that ball. But we had to learn how to dive for the ball when it was on wood. You know,
hey, Tim, let me ask you this. Did you have a favorite outside park?
Oh,
like,
man.
if you could do it other again, what was your – see, because mine was like Farmwood Park because it was down the street.
Yeah.
Farmwood and Post School over there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Coach Wiz used to be hot out there, so Farm was right down the street. What's your favorite, like, outdoor park?
Man, I had so much fun at South Shore High School outside. I learned a lot, not from, you know, guys that was playing. I learned a lot from all the old timers that used to sit around and critique our game. and say, hey, man, you need to work on this. You need to work on that. I had a guy, he took me to the free throw line. I'm shooting. He said, all right, we're going to shoot 5 shots. The best out of 5 win. And we're gonna play for $1. I'm like, $1? I was like, let's play for $5. I was okay. That dude took my $5 so quick. I was like, oh man, I gotta get myself together to shoot the ball, man. I really do. So yeah, man. So South Shore High School and Eckesall Park, man. That's why I really, really, really started, amping up my game, because that's where the best ball players in my neighborhood will go.
Right. And once again, you all are watching our inaugural episode here. What's up, cuz? I'm the host, Jay Palmer, along with my guest, Lance Irvin. And our special guest here on this segment is Tim Hardaway. And right before we go to break, real quick, because I'm bringing in somebody from the Westside, Tim, so don't go.
Okay, that's all right.
They get ready to respond now. So, but let me ask you real quick. There is a difference now. You just talked about playing on those outside courts. Now your premier players, they don't even want them to play in a driveway hard.
No.
Talk a little bit about that. Obviously there's a positive from that, is that, physically they're not, going through as much wear and tear. But do you think it hurts their game just a little bit?
To play outside?
To not play outside, right?
Oh, to not play outside? No. It's so many gyms open now. There's people out there. I mean, gyms are opening everywhere. You go and go to a gym and call people up. Yo, meet me at this gym or meet me at that gym. We're going to be here at noon. We're going to be here at 2 o'clock. We're going to be here at 3 o'clock. So I think it's up to you to take the initiative to, if a guy wants to work out and get 10 people in, say, call up, say, look, call up so-and-so, because they want a ball. Believe me, they want a ball. It's a lot of ball players in Chicago. You call them up, they be like, I'm there. All right. So I think it's an initiative where you have to call and get the guys out there that you want out there to play, and they'll come play. But I mean, if I was a guy, if I had a basketball court outside, I go shoot. I just go work on ball handling skills and tighten up my ball handling. But yeah, I shoot the ball, and back then we had half moons. we didn't when we got on square. Oh my God, we was like, oh man, you could throw the ball up like this and come down. We was like, oh man, but on that half moon, you couldn't do that. You had to make sure that ball was going in a certain way. So yeah, man. Now I would advise them, just shoot. Like I told my son during this pandemic when he's in Miami, I said, go buy you. Have them bring you Dick's or Sports Authority. Have them ship you or deliver it to your house. You put it up. Make sure if you got any part that's left over, then that means that you put it up wrong. So he put it up right, and he shot outside. Just keep your rhythm. I said, only thing you got to do is just keep your rhythm. That's all you got to do on basketball.
Gotcha.
Just keep your rhythm, and everything's going to fall into place when you go play. So that's what I tell guys to do.
Love it. Hey, okay, Tim, we're getting ready to, Lance, we're getting ready to take a break here real quick, and then we're going to come back after the break. Tim, also, we got a poll question. Which sport are you looking forward to coming back the most? Is it basketball, baseball, football, or hockey? I'm going to let you answer that when we come back, and we're also going to bring in our guests from the West Side. You're watching What's Up, Cuz? I'm your host, Jason Palmer, along with my guests, Lance Irvin and Tim Hardaway. Be right back. Welcome back. It's the first edition of What's Up, Cuz. You can check me out here every Monday night from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. If enough of y'all check me out, Maya says she'll give me another day. So please tune in on Mondays from 6 to 8. I don't have nothing else to do to talk about.
Tim go get another day. I don't know about you getting another day. Tim get another day. Hey, Tim gonna take your job.
I know. I'm
Tim dropping nuggets.
I'm gonna make Tim my cousin. Tim, what sport you looking forward to coming back? It's coming back the most real quick before I bring on our next one.
I'm gonna tell you this, man. I love basketball. I'm gonna always say basketball, and I'm gonna tell you this, man. The basketball tournament,
yeah,
CBT. Man, they have done an excellent job with conducting what they need to conduct and having people in the bubble. And they have done an excellent job with cutting it down from 2 million to 1 million and the teams and having it done that way. Man, I enjoy it. And man, I don't know if y'all saw last night, but Joe Johnson, they went out. Woo! My man shot that fadeaway 3 for game. See, that's how you play.
All right.
Blake.
Gotcha.
Joe.
There you go. All right. Well, let's bring in our next guest. He is going to be representing the West Side. You know, I had to get somebody from the West Side in. And, he's actually a replacement guest. So who we originally had something come up. But in Chicago, we can always find ball players.
Oh, no question.
He also went to Westinghouse. He was an all-city and all-state player at Westinghouse. He played his college ball down in the Lou in St. Louis. He played professionally overseas. Welcome to What's Up, Cuz, representing the West Side, Quitman Dillon. Quitman.
Hey, how's everybody?
All right, what's going on? Q?
What's going on? Hey, I'm just getting off work, man. I just got home from work.
That's all right, man. You represent, man. You had to step up for us, man. We appreciate you stepping in here. You know, the Southside got a half-hour head start on you, though.
Hey, so that's all right. I've been trying to sub for Mark all my life, so I finally get a chance. So.
Well, we appreciate it. Mark Aguirre had something he had to do at the last minute. Q Dillon is joining us. Q, we are talking about Southside and Westside basketball. Tim has had the floor for a half hour, so that's like 45 minutes for Tim. So why don't you tell us Westside basketball? Tell us about it. What is the difference in the styles between Southside and Westside, and what you love most about growing up on the Westside playing Westside basketball?
For me, I think it's just the grit. Guys on the Westside, you know, everything is like they're going to come at you. You know, there's no nights off. You know, everybody wants to be the best, and they're gonna go until the end. You know, I don't care who you are, where you from, how much you got. We on this court, and I'm trying to kill you. You know, that's the bottom line.
So, Q, question: like coming from the West Side, did you think when you went over to the South Side and played that it was a little bit more pressure to pick your game up? Because you would come over to the South Side and play all the time. Plus, you was going to talk crazy because you wanted to score. So would you come over there like, I don't care if Tim out here, I don't care if Nick Anderson out here, I'm going to try to get them buckets on the South Side. So would your mindset change, or would you be a little bit more thirstier? If that's the word, thirstier. Brookie, please don't criticize me for saying more thirstier. But were you thirsty when you came out to the South Side?
I think for me, the mindset was always the same. You know, I know I'm good at scoring, so that's what I do. So, of course, I want to score on anybody. You know, so I would say it depends on the player or the venue. You know, that'll kind of make me step it up a notch. But all in all, you're gonna get the same out of me any and every time I step on the floor.
Q Westside has a great basketball history as well. Tell us a little bit about some of the history of Westside basketball, some of the legendary gyms, some of the legendary playgrounds out there on the West Side that you played in, and some of the ones that are still out there today.
Okay, well, I would definitely say Marillac House. I used to go down there and watch my brother, Mark, Isaiah Thomas, and all those guys go play. It was similar to the Rucker. It was gated on the outside, and it was just one court. And people used to climb on the gates, standing room only on the inside. People would be on their back porches watching the games, and they had lights. So growing up, I would say that was the Mecca. Mason is a great place to go, test your game, as well as Delano, Columbus Park. As far as gyms, definitely Fosco down there in the village. We used to go play in the summer when Tim and all them guys used to be down there. Rock had the gym, so I just couldn't wait to go down there to play with them guys. So it's a lot of history on the West Side. Great players that didn't make it. I can recall one guy. My brother name is Skip, but this guy name was Black Skip, and he was a pimp. He always came to the playground. He had on 40s. He was always, perm and everything. But the guy had like a 40-some inch vertical. He could shoot a right hand, left hand. He can handle the ball. He can do everything he wanted to do. I think he was at Marshall High School in the early to mid 70s, and basketball wasn't his thing.
Pimping was.
Exactly. So, everybody knew him on the West Side. So, he would come play and, and do his thing.
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. All right. It's a lot of guys that didn't make it in the NBA, but I credit them for having me be the way I am and how I played and how I approached the game, because without them, I wouldn't been able to be an all-star. I wouldn't been able to be the killer crossover. I wouldn't been able to be all the things that I was in the NBA without those guys playing at IIT, playing at Robichaud, playing at Fernwood, playing all over across the city of Chicago. Without those guys, we talking about Dan Brittman. They call him Alibaba. That's how he like the 40 thief. He would steal the ball away from you anytime, anywhere. And then you have, like I said, you had guys that didn't make it.
Like Brian Leach, when you played against Brian Leach at the summer.
Brian Leach, and all those guys. And when I came back off my injury from ACL in '93, when I came back that summer, I was tested. People didn't pick me up in full court in the summer league. They just didn't do it. I had Flip. He picked me up. He's like, yeah, we're going to see where your knee is at now. We're going to see if you got the killer crossover like you used to have. I'm like, for real? but see, if I didn't get that, I wouldn't have came back and been an all-star again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They helped me become that all-star. They helped me have that FU attitude, and I'm going to go out there and bust your butt attitude each and every day. So without that tutelage from them, I wouldn't have been that type of ball player.
Gotcha. Absolutely. Tim, let me ask you a question, then I'm going to go to Q real quick. Tim, I don't know if people know you coached in the NBA. You played at a high level, you coached at a high level. What's the difference you would say now from a coaching standpoint from players now? You think the players are better now, or you think the players were better when you were coming up, or do you think they're about the same? Because I watched you coach some guys, and I'm like, Tim over there coaching hard, too. I'm like, Tim coaching hard over there.
I'm going to tell you, the mentality that we grew up with, they don't have the same mentality. All of them don't. Like a Russell Westbrook, yeah. LeBron James, yeah. Chris Paul, yeah. My son, yeah. But a lot of them guys don't have the same how they grew up, how we grew up, and how we understood and took the game seriously. And a lot of them don't have the basketball IQ that we had to have to go out there and play against people. True. So when you trying to get these people they talents out of them, and you can see them, trying to, not really go out there and do what you want them to do. Like I want a guy to go hard. Even though you by yourself, you still got to go hard. So when it's in the game, it'll be easy for you. But that challenge of trying to make them go hard so it could be easy for them in the game, that's the challenge where you got to know how to go and know how to talk to them, know how to make them understand as a coach. And it's hard to do that because I did it all the time, but you can't talk to them that way because I grew up differently. They grew up now, they growing up, you know, we didn't have friends. We had friends, but we really didn't have friends like Q. I didn't play with Q all the time or the Westside crew all the time. So when we played against each other, it was like we fight. Right. You know, but these kids, they play against each other all the time. Right. They get a friendship going, and all of them, you know, they talk about what school they want to go to or what team they want to play for, and they go to different teams, AAU teams, and play for that AAU team. And so we didn't do that. You know, I'm on this team. I want to go against Q. All right, I'm on this team. I want to go against Randy Brown. I'm on this team. I want to go against them ball players. I didn't want them ball players to be on my team. So that's how we used to be. But it's different now, and that's the way we grew up. So they grew up different.
I think just to piggyback off what you said, Tim. For us, it was a means of survival versus entitled. Yeah. Those kids now today, they think they're entitled to everything. For us, basketball was survival. Yeah. We used basketball to get us out of certain situations, to get us to school, to get us out of the city of Chicago, to make a better lives, not only for ourselves, but our families as well. So I do agree with you on that.
You're absolutely right. Because back then the games was tough, baby.
So Tim and Q, and I'm gonna let you steal the floor, Jay, but name me 5 people from the Southside or 5 people from the Westside, Q, who you was like, man, I'll go to war with them. They don't have to be NBA players. Just give me 5 guys you could think of. Like,
wow. Man. I mean, that's tough.
I give you a list, man.
It'd be about 100 people on my list.
Man, you get 5 people, man. You get 5.
I give you a sub. You had 6. I give you a sub. Put y'all on the spot. Let's go. Wow. I got 5 seconds to think about it.
Brian Leach. I get Brian Leach, JJ Anderson.
Oh, Mr. JJ Anderson, huh?
Yep. I'm gonna tell you somebody, man, that was tough, and a lot of people don't know about him. Gerald Hayward.
Oh, you take Wood. Ooh, yeah, Wood.
Wood was 6'7" and give it to you, man. Who else?
Got 2 more.
I got 2 more. Oh man, I can't pick myself, right?
You pick yourself? No, man. Hey, man, you gotta have self-confidence in this world. Pick yourself, Tim. Pick yourself.
You got Anthony Davis or somebody. I'm just throwing out a name.
I'm gonna take Ben Wilson.
Okay.
BJ, yes, sir.
Yeah. Ben Wilson, and then who else is it? Anthony Davis from the Southside.
Yeah, we will give you that.
Anthony Davis and Derrick Rose.
All right.
What about Nick Anderson? Where we put Nick Anderson? You put
Nick from the West Side. Nick from the West Side.
Look. Q like, man, you're trying to get my people now, man. Q like, slow up. All right, Q, your turn. And by the way, I used to like Nick's Nest.
Of course, it's going to be Mark Aguirre.
Yeah.
Eddie Johnson.
Oh, EJ. Come on, Q.
Isaiah Thomas. I'm going with my brother.
Yeah, I was about to say Skip gonna be mad at you. Hershey Hawkins gonna be mad at you. You gotta put pressure on you now. Hey, Tim, I done put pressure on him now. I throw him off his
you gotta put your brother on there.
He gonna take the pimp.
And I'm gonna take Hershey Hawkins.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, see, I thought you were gonna pick the pimp.
No.
I want you to pick the pimp, man, but that's all right.
I'm gonna tell you this: it's a lot of guys, man, that can hoop, man. I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, you they come off the street and you be like, man, that dude can't hoop. He will bust your butt.
Hey, Jay, I gotta ask Tim this too. I don't know if this is a segment or not, Tim, but you know I'm a huge watch guy, Tim. I love watches. You know, my father grew up wearing watches and stuff, and I happened to be Googling, like I'm Googling. I said, black-owned watches. Yeah. And I saw you was the president. So could you speak about the watch company that you president of for those of us that like watches?
Here we go right here.
Oh, Tim.
Is that the one I asked you for at lab and you wouldn't give it to me?
No, you didn't ask for this at the lab.
No, it was another one. It was a brown one. It was a brown one. I remember.
It was a brown one. Yeah.
Would y'all let Tim talk about the watches? Let me hear about this. I might want to purchase one, Bud. Come on, Bud.
Black-owned watch company. President of the Black-owned watch company is called Banneker Watches. Go to bannekerwatches.com and get you one. It's wood watches, wood on a base. This is mine. This is the crossover watch. I have 3 of them. I have the silver, gold, and I have the bronze. So you go on the website and get you one. And man, I mean, I love watches. I always love watches. And me and this guy named Derek Holmes came up with this company, and we getting a lot of traction right now. And man, it's you wouldn't go wrong. And I'm going to tell you this. A lot of people don't know about Benjamin Banneker. Benjamin Banneker, he used to have a grandfather clock that he used to take apart each and every week and clean it and put the parts back in the way they're supposed to go back in without, looking at a piece of paper, without this, without that. And he used to take it apart and put it back together each and every Sunday, and he used to chime every hour on the hour. All right. And another thing about history, the way Washington, D.C. is and the way Virginia is, he is the one that he didn't design it, but a guy that designed it went back on a boat because he was mad at the people because they wasn't ready to, build. And they said, well, now how are we going to build the city? And Benjamin Banneker said, hey, I looked at the plans. I memorized the plans, and I could put this whole city together just by memorizing it. Mm-hmm. And that's the way he is the one that designed Washington, D.C. and Virginia the way it is today. So a lot of people don't know that.
Love it. Wow. Tim, how much? Come on. I didn't know how much.
How much? $300.
Oh, I can afford that.
I can afford it.
They're not like $500, $600, or $1,000, man. These are affordable watches, man.
Oh, yes.
They're very affordable for you.
And fashionable.
And fashionable.
Exactly.
I might not even need to get a loan from my wife for that one.
Right. See, and we got all different types of watches on there. Once you go to the website, Benjamin Banneker or bannekerwatches.com, you go there and you look at the type of watch that you want that's gonna fit your style, and buy one. Appreciate it.
Hey Tim, I'm buying one next week for sure.
I appreciate it.
I've been looking at that crossover too. Plus, I got like a chocolate brown color watch that looks smooth too.
Yeah,
I'm trying to ask you about.
Exactly.
Love it, love it, love it. Let me ask you guys a question.
Yeah.
And this was gonna be a wild one, but I like to ask questions ain't nobody else gonna ask you. I want both of you to give me a story. Quinman, I want you to go first. Tell me a story, because it happened to everybody who plays Chicago basketball. A time when you got into a situation.
Oh.
that you remember the most.
That's several.
I know.
No question.
Tell me about a situation you got into playing basketball in Chicago, and what was the result of it?
Okay, so I can recall this mid-'80s. Behind the house where I lived at and grew up at, Delano Playground. So on one side is the Four Corner Hustlers. On, where the playground is Four Corner Hustlers. But across the street, which was Pulaski's, Black Souls. So one night we were in there playing. It was like a little bit, about 11. We going playing whole course, the lights on, people in the playground, everybody's doing their own thing. And some guys, cars pull up, they just start shooting. They blew a hole in one tree, so we all ran out the other side of the playground, and before we knew it, we was 5 blocks through Garfield Park on the other side of the park. So we were chased out, and after that, everybody, you know, dispersed the playground, but you know, we all came back and continued playing. So
yeah, that's Chicago.
That's as real as it gets for me. So
yeah,
I didn't know I could run that fast.
Yeah. I was about to say you don't know how fast you was running. After 5 blocks, you weren't even tired.
I done hopped the fence and everything. They were like, damn, you can't even jump. How you hopping the fence? I said, man, they about to kill us.
Right. Gunfire make you do that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We was coming back, me and some friends, we was coming back from Evergreen Plaza. Black Plaza back then.
Black, okay.
Black. So this had to be in 80s. And it used to be a park right there on 95th and I want to say Vincennes.
Oakdale Park by the railroad tracks.
Yeah, by the railroad tracks.
Oakdale Park.
So we was hooping, right? And we was talking so much trash. All right, it was just we went out there and saw 5 guys, so it was 5 of us. We went out there and we got off the bus and laid our bags down. And as we was talking smack, we kind of saw them, you know, having their friends come closer and closer to the court. And I was like, so it was like somebody said, hold on, I need some water or something. So I was like, hey man, do y'all see what's about to happen? And he was like, yeah. I said, all right, this is what we gonna do. So as we go on for a fast break towards our close, all right, we see a bus coming down 95th. We're going to let it, because back then you could run, you could catch the bus. Dude, we laid the ball up. Everybody grabbed a bag, all our bags, and we just took off for the bus. We caught that bus 2 blocks down. And we was like, close the door, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. He closed the door, and we was like, all right, just go. Just go. He was like, nah, I'm going. I said, man, you got to go. Hey, man, that's when, that was a real situation right there. Like about 10 or 15 guys running after us. He was like, nah, man, you got to go. And I tell you this, like you said, Q, you know when you can run, when you being chased or being shot or something, hit some gunshots, you know you can run. We was flying. The last guy, he could run. We was on my heel. I was like, damn, I thought you was slow. No, man, these guys trying to catch up. Let's go. I'm going to run you over. So we got on the bus, man. We was gone.
Wow. Wow. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys. Can you stick around a little bit? I got another guest I want to bring in here, and I want you guys on with him. Is that okay?
That's cool.
All right, cool. They can hang for a second. Perfect.
I appreciate y'all.
Well, it's our first show for What's Up, Cuz. I'm your host, Jason Palmer. My guests, Lance Irvin, Quimman Diller, Tim Hardaway. I got another one for y'all. I'm bringing another Chicago legend in his own right. A legendary filmmaker. If you watch the 30 for 30 that they did on Ben Wilson, came out a few years ago. This guy is from Chicago. He knows all about Chicago basketball hoops. He's a talented filmmaker with his partner, Coodie. But let's bring him in right now. Welcome to What's Up, Cuz. Clarence, Coodie, Simmons. Clarence, what's up? There he is.
Hey, how y'all doing? What's happening? What's good, Mr. Diller? How y'all doing?
All right.
Yes,
Coodie, have you been listening to this smack these dudes been talking, man?
Yeah, you already know what's on.
So Coodie, Mr. Filmmaker.
Come on.
Mr. Filmmaker himself. So what you gonna do? A film Southside, Westside? Talk to us about Southside, Westside a little bit, because you love basketball. I know you did the 30 for 30 doc on Benji. You did some other stuff, and you love basketball. Can you talk to us a little bit about, basketball, Southside, Westside flavor, if you want to? I don't want Tim scaring you, and I don't want Quentin to scare you either.
Right, y'all got me on here with some legends, man.
I just want to hear it. Now, you the legend, brother.
I can't even compete with.
Hey, people trying to get movies out of this thing.
Come on, Tim. Me and Tim, we already talking, so we gonna make stuff happen. Y'all already know.
Yeah,
but no, man. You know what I think of Westside. Even though Chucky Vision from the South Side, I always think of a Chucky vision. You know what I'm saying? Because he live on the West Side. You know, Chucky been documenting that, documenting the sport. You know, so, but you know, it's tripped out because even when we was doing Benji and Tim, you know, you was my first interview for Benji.
Right.
But I came to the gym that one time.
Right.
But dog, man, that West Side, South Side, you already know. But like people like Tim and Mr. Dillard, y'all had the ghetto pass, y'all called it. So y'all can go around into the West Side and play. And you man, see all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't play good like that. So
you know, I'm gonna tell you this. You are right. I'm gonna tell you, if you didn't know nobody, or if you couldn't play, you'd be looking at you like, what are you doing here? What is that?
Dude, I already know.
What? Yo, does anybody know this guy? If you didn't know nobody, then they'd be like, yo, get him up out of here.
You might not even make it to the court.
Yeah, that's where it was, man. That's where it was. If we heard, this is what we heard. If you know somebody from the West Side and you going over there to play or to hang out or whatever, you better mention his name because they're gonna help you.
Yeah, exactly.
And if they don't know this guy, you in trouble.
Yeah, you already know.
Same way going on the South Side.
Yeah.
I was good at Leclerc Courts because my cousin Bujo and them was over there. So when I go over there, I was good.
Yes.
But other than that, I couldn't move around. Hey, real quick, you know, Lance let me get on the Julian basketball team when I was a freshman because he liked my sister back in the day. I could even dribble good. The man, like, you know what? Put him on.
I'm not gonna get started.
That's a real fact.
I'm gonna tell you a real quick story. So me and Lance, we was playing Julian against Carver, right? So me and Lance got into a scuffle. And you remember that, Lance? Me and Lance got into a scuffle or whatever. And it got real serious at one point and everything. And our fathers was sitting right by each other. They didn't move. They was like, and then after the game, they said, "Oh yeah, that was good for y'all. That, you know, sometimes y'all need to, you know, sometimes that happens." I was like, "Sometimes that happens." But then we went back to, you know, we was like, we was ready to duke it, and they was like, they started laughing to you.
Oh man, Coodie, let me ask you.
They legends, so they do.
You've seen basketball all over the city, Coodie. Talk to me. Just give me some of your personal thoughts and some of the best games that you've seen, and some of the best players that you have seen. Because obviously you're a filmmaker, you see basketball all over the country, but Chicago's a different animal. So talk to me a little bit about some of the best players and some of the best games that you've gotten to see and also put on film.
Yeah, well, I didn't get to put this one on film, but I was going to them Chicago State games back then with Tim Hughes playing and Brian Leach. You know what I'm saying? I remember Brian and them getting it in. So that was like some of the games that I've really seen. And then when I was documenting, I really wasn't documenting much basketball. That's like Chucky Vision was doing that. So I didn't really document much until we started the Benji 30 for 30, and then I went out. But and then we did the piece with Brand Jordan which I brought Lance and them. Which Lance, I love y'all for that coming out for me. We went out to the Mac Irvin Park, and at Fernwood, it used to be Fernwood, but now it's Mac Irvin Park, I call it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So but that's pretty much of the documentation that I did on basketball. But yeah, man, I got a love for the game, man, and I just feel like with when I got to tell the Benji story, it was very important just because I understood how the city felt when he died. You know what I'm saying? When he got killed, it was like although we was traumatized by it, it still was a piece. You know what I mean? I felt like I can go to the west side of Leclerc Courts and play if I wanted to after that. You know what I'm saying? So when we did the movie, we wanted to bring that piece back to Chicago that we felt because we were so distraught. You know what I mean?
Sure, Coodie. And I mean, I thought you did an excellent job with that film. I mean, I know I was a freshman in high school at Lynn Bloom at the time, and my best friend and neighbor who lived across the street, he went to Simeon. And I remember him coming home and telling me what had happened. And I knew Benji through Byron. I know Byron and Benji were close. And I thought what you did with the film really hit home. Let me ask you this. You also have done a piece on Stephon Marbury.
Yeah, we just did that.
A little bit about that one too, about what you did with Stephon.
Yeah, well, it just came to us, after the success of Benji, we got a few people that wanted us to tell their stories, and it wasn't Stephon that came to us. It was Nina Bon Jovi and Forrest Whitaker. So they came to us about the story, and I didn't know much about Stephon like that. I knew he was good, and I remember the Vaseline and eating that, but I didn't know his story. But when they came, I'm like, well, Forrest Whitaker and Nina want to do this. It's got to be something. So we and Chike, we both was like, man, let's figure it out. And sure enough, God just started working his magic. And next thing I know, I'm meeting Kane and Jasper, who actually, if you watch what is Power, 50 Cent play Kanan. So I know Kanan. And when I'm talking to him, he know the brothers and everybody. So he started telling me that whole family story and that Steph was the only one to make it. So I'm like, wow, this is an amazing story. So from there, God just started, we always say Jesus direct, you know what I mean? So he just started putting all the pieces together. And next thing I know, and if y'all seen the movie, we in the barbershop with Xavier with the same name as Stephon. And it was just like, Matt, like I say, Jesus. I'm like, whoa. Yeah.
You know what, Coodie, talking about Stephon, he used to come to Chicago. He used to spend the night with us. And him and my brother Nick, they'd wake up, and Tim, truthfully, he would be in the backyard crossing over hollering, Tim Hardaway. I'm like, Steph, if you don't stop it. But no, Coodie, let me ask you this. What drew you to want to make film? This a lot of us that play basketball or whatever. And filmmaking is something that we could do is much more than sports. What drew you to want to do that, make movies growing up?
Well, it started with when I was doing stand-up comedy. Bernie Mac was my mentor. I went to the Cotton Club open mic. Bernie Mac brought me up the first time ever, and Tim and all y'all know the Cotton Club used to be popular. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Bernie brought me up, and I did really good. And then I started doing that professionally. I did BET's Comedy View twice. But when we started the TV show Channel Zero is when I fell in love with film, because we was like, I was the host of Channel Zero. Then we would like put it together, and then we would put it on public access. And the response that we was getting was so magical. I was like, yo, this I think this is my passion. I think film is my passion, other than because I was going to be an actor and a comedian, but I just took on the film. And that's when I learned how to use Danny's camera, because I didn't go to school for it. And I just started filming and documenting, hip hop, the mergers of hip hop in Chicago. And that's when I ran into Kanye, and I just started filming him as well. So that's that's how it all started, and it just kept going. And until we did the Through the Wire video, which was the first video that me and my partner Chike we did together. And from that point, me and Chike was like, man, we're gonna do everything together. So we went from that to doing Mos Def and Erykah Badu to Benji to Stephon, was the last thing we did. And we also did a doc on Earl Lloyd, the first African American to play in the NBA, which Donnie Kursky hooked us up with that. Donnie Kursky called us and hooked us up crazy, and he was still alive at the time. So, that was amazing. We set up and went to dinner with it was a big dinner, but with Oscar Robertson and Bill Russell and Earl Lloyd. Wow. Like, what the world? That was crazy.
That's history. Well, I know you guys. I know you all still follow basketball. What do you guys feel about the NBA bubble? Would you play if you had the opportunity to play? Q, Tim, Coodie, if you guys can play, would you want to play in the bubble with COVID going on right now?
Oh man, yeah, I'll let Tim know. I couldn't even ask.
Tim, Go ahead, Tim. Go ahead, Tim. Q.
I think this. I think I will play. I will play because the NBA has taken every precaution there is to have it safe for them guys, you know, in the bubble. And if they want to learn from somebody, and I know they have learned from the TBT tournament and watch them and somebody was down there watching them and understanding what they needed to do and how they need to do to keep these guys safe. But the thing is, these guys, the NBA guys, they have to know that if you step outside that bubble and do something or go somewhere and that you want to do, you jeopardizing everybody. And you have to, and they have to understand that. And the NBA has taken all the precautions to make it comfortable for them and making it safe for them and making them understand this is how it's going to be and this is how it needs to be, and you all need to be on board to go forward. So and I think they are doing the right thing and you know, testing them every day, 2 or 3 times a day, you know, from here to there, back here. You know, they got ping pong down there. And if I go down there, I got to stay in quarantine for 36 hours before I'm able to even come out. And then I have to pass 2 or 3 tests before I'm able to even come out my room to be around the NBA. So, you know, they understand what needs to be done. And I think they doing what they supposed to do. And I think the guys right now, they understand and they buying into it, and they understand that if we want to get them games over with and play a playoff games and play championship games, this is what we need to do, and this is how we have to do it. And I commend them. And yeah, I would be playing too. And I understand the other guys, you know, with families, with kids, with their kids not being healthy enough. So if they, you know, don't have it, they could bring it to the kid and the kid could get it. So I understand that too. So I commend them for understanding, look, I can't play. I got to be with my family. I got to watch out for my family. And I don't want to put my family in no harm's way, jeopardize my family. So I understand it both ways. So that's where you have to understand which way you want to go. And if you all in or you not in. So I commend both of the guys that are not in, because they understand the situation that they need to be in.
Yep. Q, what about you?
For me, I think that the NBA did a great job of taking the precautionary measures. They did the research. But I think the games do need to be played, because right now it's bigger than basketball. And those guys, they have a platform where, you know, everybody talk about Black Lives Matter, and they can use that platform to make it even bigger. You know, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, and everything that Tim said, you know, I'm in total agreement.
Coodie, I know you got to run pretty soon. So let me just ask you real quick, what upcoming projects do you have that you're working on now, stuff that we can look out for? You know, we got a lot of people who are big fans of yours. They want to know what you got going on. Tell me a little bit about what you got going on coming up.
Well, we definitely doing Ernie Barnes, the painter. We've been documenting him before his death in 2009. Before his what they call it, I wouldn't say death, I would say passing or his transition. Better yet, yeah. So that's a project that we're working on, and we also creative directing for Slam magazine. So we taking the IP of Slam and we putting like different stories in the scripts or documentaries. And then one we really want to do and we're working on right now is with Tim Hardaway at TMZ. So that's one that we actively working to show you in a minute, Tim, the deck that we putting together. But that's one that story that we looking to tell as well soon. So
okay,
might be our next piece if things move the way it's moving. So I'm looking forward to that right there.
And can I get a cameo?
Oh no. And Coodie, the last question I have for you, you can inspiring a lot of young people. Young people want to get into film. Everybody doesn't have to go to Hollywood to do it. You know, we got talent here in Chicago. We got stuff here in Chicago. Can you tell me just a little bit? What do you recommend for our kids in Chicago who we all know they need some alternatives to some of the stuff that's out there? And for those that want to get into the film industry, what can you say to them for me real quick?
Man, I would say if they want to do it, they just got to pick up a camera like I did, really. But it's more than that. You know, I let God just lead me to this because I didn't know, like I said, I was doing all kinds of throwing parties and doing comedy and acting. And I found my passion, you know, but then a major thing that happened to me is when I moved to New York and the World Trade Center went down. So when the World Trade Center went down, I had this book this guy gave me called Keys to Success. So when I'm like, okay, well, I got this book, and you know, in Chicago, we kicking it. You know what I'm saying? Definitely in my hood, when we was coming up in school, it was like cool. If you was reading and stuff, you was a nerd. But if you was, you know, wilding out and doing all that, you was cool. So I'm trying to be cool, I guess. And now I'm 30 years old when I moved to New York and grabbed that book, Keys to Success, and realized that I couldn't read. I'm reading it. I'm 30 years old, and like I don't even know these words, like initiative and words like that. So I had to read the book 3 times before I really understood it. But when I understood that book, you know, his whole thing is if you can conceive and believe, you can achieve. I was like, what? I kind of be doing this, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna focus on. Then they tell you all the keys that you need to do, like no procrastination and just all these different, you know, get your mastermind alliance. And then when I took the book and learned and realized that I was really doing it too, and the things that I can work on and do, I went and got the beginning director's books. I went and got screenwriting books. I taught myself how to do everything that I'm doing. And then my mastermind alliance just started coming around with like an energy. And that's when I met Chike and all of these different filmmakers. And it just went from there. So I would say just get the book Keys to Success by Napoleon Hill, because that changed my life dramatically, you know, so definitely.
Well, Coodie, thank you so much, man. I know you got to run. I really appreciate you jumping on. Q, you came off the bench for us.
Yeah.
You know, Mark got you coming off the bench again.
All right. Lance owe me a favor. Right.
But I'm getting you a watch from Tim. I'm getting you a watch from Tim. Don't worry about it.
No problem.
Tim's watches, man.
Hey, Coodie, I respect your work, man. Continue doing your thing.
Yep.
Oh man, thank you, man, for sure, man. Same, man. You know, I come up with y'all, so man, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it going.
No problem. We got to keep
it. Appreciate you as well, Tim, and just all the stuff that you guys are doing after basketball and everything. I think you're such an inspiration to so many people, and I really appreciate you all making this first show special. So we're going to say goodbye to you guys right now. We're going to take a and then Lance and I are going to come back and do a final lap, and we'll be out here. We'll be back. Thanks, guys.
All right. God bless y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Welcome back, everybody, to What's Up, Cuz? I'm the host, Jason Palmer. My guest today is my cousin, Lance Irvin, stepping in as a guest for me. You all just had some good conversations going on there. It's a long time topic here in Chicago, Southside and Westside basketball. And Lance, I mean, I know you could have jumped in even more, because I know you got stories too, man. You know, what you tell me a little bit about your perspective of Southside and Westside basketball in Chi-Town.
You know what, Jay? I think it's kind of like what Tim and Q both said. Excuse me. When you went over to the West Side, you knew the game was going to be tough. It was going to be tough on the South Side also. But, you know, when you went on the West Side now, you had to bring it. Like, if the guys from the West Side thought you had any softness in you, it was over with. It was over. If they smelled softness, they was just going to come at you. On the South Side, it was the same way, but man, it seemed like when you went on the West Side, it was worse. Now, I never had to deal with that because my older brother Byron, if he even thought I went out there soft, he was gonna try to fight me then and there. So I said this: I'd rather fight them in the court than go home with him. See, because he'll fight me all day and all night, and you know it. My father was gonna get on you. Right. But with that being said, I mean, I was fortunate to go play, but I was going with my brothers. And, you know, Mac was like Mac tell people all the time. I remember a real quick story about my brother Mac. Like, Mac, the real buckets. Like, people, if you follow the stuff, excuse me, Mac was in the And1 mixtapes. And they started calling Mac buckets first. Like, somebody said something to Mac, and Mac said, I got 30,000 points in the hood. And he did have 30,000 points in the hood. Yeah. Mac was one of the guys. He didn't make it to the NBA, but he played overseas. Like, Mac, if you ask people, he would kill guys in the summer league. Like, he would give you work.
Pure scorer, man. Cousin Mac, pure scorer, man. He could get you buckets. No doubt. No doubt about it.
So, you know, that's part about Southside. But the one thing I love is that both sides played the game extremely hard. Everybody was passionate. Everybody bought it. What's your thoughts on it, cuz? Come on, what's up, cuz? What's your thoughts on it?
You know, for me, you know, I wasn't the basketball player in the family. I was the baseball guy. You know, I was the baseball guy. I know you played baseball. Mac played baseball. I was the baseball guy. That was my thing, playing through high school. And, you know, when I got over, I played in a lot of, you know, pretty competitive softball leagues as well. That was my sport. But the thing I enjoyed about it was just hanging around with y'all. You know, just hanging around with y'all, going to different spots. I didn't have to be on the court. I was that dude on the sideline praying nobody got hurt and they like eat the stuff. Because I'd be coming in like that dude in White Man Can't Jump. What the heck is this? So, you know, I just enjoyed being around you guys growing up, being around, being able to see Tim play, being able to see Benji play, being able to see Nick play. And, you know, as a reporter, being a reporter now 20 years, seeing the tradition of Chicago high school basketball and being able to report on it, being able to report on not just the male players, but we've got a ton of talented female players.
Yes, we do.
And I know I'm going to be having some of the legends from Chicago, you know, coming on my show here in the next few weeks. You know, definitely got to get Cappy on this show. Cappy Pondex is one of the best ball players that come out of this city, and I'm talking male or female. So for me, just being as an observer and a person who gets to tell the story, if you love basketball, Chicago is where you want to be, man. I can't remember who it was earlier this year. One of the NBA players, I may have been AD. He had said Chicago is the mecca of basketball. It's not New York, you know. And I know they're ball players from all over the place, but I mean, that's just our thing. You know, Texas, they think it's football. That's their thing. You know, Chicago, we're basketball, you know, through and through. So, you know, that's just my observation on it and being able to see the game as it's evolved, being able to coach in a pretty high-level coach league. And my players, and, you know, a lot of them went to smaller college schools. You know, one of the kids I ended up, I'm like, man, this dude too talented. Me and Mike Jones got passed him on to somebody else. That's Jeremy Pargo, who ended up starting at Gonzaga and, you know, played in the league for a while and might still even be playing a little bit overseas. So, you know, that's just kind of my observation, but just sports in general, Lance. Let's talk a little bit about where we are right now with sports and them coming back, and just what are your general thoughts on it in these crazy times we're living in? You know, the sports coming back here in the next couple of weeks. What are your thoughts on it?
It's hard. I mean, I think people want it to come back, right? But it's a lot of unknown out there. And, you know, the one thing I tell people is COVID is real. My aunt passed away a couple of weeks ago. So it's nothing to play with. And, you know, I always err on the side of safety first. Like, I don't know if we should play. I don't know if we shouldn't. But I know we need to keep the kids safe. If the NBA, you know, the NBA, they have a little bit more money, NFL, NHL, all those sports. So they could do things a little bit different in terms of keeping people in the bubble, testing every day, doing stuff that way. But with that being said, Jay, these tests cost. The last number I heard was like $100 per test.
Right.
So that's tough. And if you think about the colleges now, maybe some of like the schools in the like Power 5, they have money for that. But and even they losing money, Jay. So what about the low resource schools? What about the mid-majors that don't have the money to test like that? I mean, so that's a problem. And with the numbers that keep spiking daily, like I think Florida, was it the other day, they had like over 15,000 cases?
Yes, Florida and Arizona right now seem to be the real hot zones in Texas. And you know, it's a serious situation. You know, I'm not gonna definitely get out of here today without talking about a person who's been very close to our family, who lost his life to COVID, and you know, his wife. You know, I personally know 6 people who've lost their lives to COVID, and I was one of the first people sounding alarms on this thing on my own personal Facebook page back in February because I knew what was going on. One of my friends who's a softball umpire died, and you know, you
sorry to hear that.
Your aunt, but you know, Steve Hudson, Coach Steve, man, Coach Steve helped
great guy,
kids in Chicago. You know, he's a friend of our family, but you know, you could probably talk about Steve a little bit better than I can. You know,
I mean, Steve was a guy that really was passionate about the kids. He cared about the kids, and he had 2 kids of his own. But Steve cared for everybody. And that's tough losing a guy like him that really cared about the kids. So we'll miss him. Rest in peace. Big hug. Miss you, babe. So, Jay, what you think about your first show, buddy? Since you're the host.
You know, it's fun. It's fun. You know, I've been putting off doing this for a while. And it just got to a point. The George Floyd thing did something to all of us and really made us examine things. I think it really forced me to say, all right, I've been sitting, you know, doing my thing, but it's time for me to really step up and do a bigger platform and get some more stuff done. And what I really wanted to do was collaborate with other Black media in Chicago, and that's what I did. That's what I've done. You know, we're doing this with Chicago Crusader Newspaper, Dorothy Lavelle, who I've been known for over 20 years. You know, I was on WVON today. I've been a guest on WVON a number of times. And I think what Sean and Maya have created here with SportsZone Chicago is what we need to do. We need to start telling our stories from our perspective and our narrative, saying it in our way, our style of talking. Okay. You know, and we need to start putting it out there more, you know, so, you know, to be able to get the guests we've had on this first show. And I got a big show lined up next week when I'm going to talk baseball, and we're going to talk Negro Leagues baseball. I've got the director of the Negro League Museum down in Kansas City. Bob is coming on. And I got a couple of people, Chicago Major League players, I'm working on to try to get on the show too. I'm not going to say too much about it yet, but, you know, I've really enjoyed this, you know, and I appreciate the form. I appreciate you jumping on as a guest for me right here this first week, and we'll see how we can keep this thing going forward. But, you know, I think it's been a great show. But I think, you know, being in the journalism and the media industry, I know the audience is the final judge. And, you know, if they come back next week, that'll tell me how good this first show was and what they want to do. You know, I know people have a lot of things to do in their lives, and I appreciate everyone that's taking the time to tune in here. I mean, how was it for you? I know you're not a media person. You just talk a lot.
I love to talk like Pops, but I think it was great just having Coodie Simmons on, dropping the knowledge that he did, having Timmy crossover with Tim Hardaway on the equipment dealer. I think those guys was able to talk about things that you hope the audience wanted to hear. So I know you appreciate those guys coming on. I appreciate you having me as a guest host.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. I mean, this is a lot of fun. And, you know, Maya is behind the scenes. She's producing this thing. And this is a very strong Black woman who started this. You know, I've known Maya for a very long time. And, you know, she did a lot of work in radio at WVON. She was at the Score 670 for a number of years. And, I mean, she's a Black female who's out here doing her thing. And I'm going to support her in doing this. And I appreciate her allowing me to be a part of this, man. You know, just to be able to get these guests that we've got and all the things we've got coming forward. Once again, our poll question, I want to remind you of that. We do have a poll question. I want you to go to www.chicagocrusader.com and answer our poll question. Which sport are you looking forward to coming back the most? Is it baseball, basketball, football, or hockey? Go ahead and cast your vote. You can also see the results of the voting as you vote. You know, just scroll down a little bit longer. You can see the votes. So just want to thank everybody for that. And on my final note, this is my first show. I was not expecting to have to say what I'm about to say. One of my best friends from college, Charles Johnson, who was a groomsman in my wedding, just like you were, Lance, he lost his fiance Saturday.
Sorry to hear that.
Yes, right after I was doing another show here on SportsZone Chicago to promote this show. 10 minutes after that, you know, he called me. I thought he was calling to say, "Hey man, you did great." And he said, "Hey man, I got to call you. I'm not doing good at all." And I'm like, "Man, what's going on?" He said, "You know, I lost Bridget last night." His fiance, they went to sleep together at night, and in the morning he woke up and she was non-responsive and died right there in the bed next to him. Lance, you're married. I'm married. Something like that just does something to you. You know, not only did I lose a good person in Bridget Works, but one of my best friends is, you know, I can't even imagine the hell he's going through right now. You know, to have found her there, had to actually do the chest compressions and the CPR before the paramedics can get there. My heart goes out to Bridget Works, her 4 children, my boy, Charles Johnson. And what made it really painful was her daughter had just had what would have been Bridget's first grandchild literally hours before she passed away. She never got to meet the baby. She did get to see the baby's picture on Facebook. So, you know, I'm really torn up right now with that, you know, and trying to get this show together and, you know, the challenges of putting the first show together. And we got some things we still got to get straight with some people that I'm not happy about. And I'm going to let them know about it too. I'm not going to use this platform to do it, but they going to feel some heat. You know, it takes a lot to do this. And, you know, I just want to say goodbye to everybody. And I thank you all for tuning in. So what's up, cuz? We're going to end my cousin Lance. Thank you for joining me as a guest, cuz. I love you so much. And I really appreciate
you for having me, man. Maya, I appreciate you.
Join me next week. I'm going to be talking baseball. A lot of baseball is coming up. Sox fan, Cubs fan, tune in. I'm going to have a guest list for you. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Facebook. I'll see you next week. Peace out, everybody. Bye-bye.
Peace.